Greetings, guys. I want to take you on a journey through my perspectives. Looking at this lovely cityscape, please consider that your current situation you're facing and even your future potential of what you'd like, if you want to, how you want to live, where, it's all not that significant. Like, it can, be open to it changing. Like, people can get so consumed by one job or employer or one place in the world to live. The one thing that should remain consistent is and be even refined is your value system. And the more and more we live in a world that it benefits the individual in a way that it gives everybody an opportunity to be more independent. Like, all the machinery and all the conveniences we have and services to help people through their day-to-day lives, it allows us to truly be free. But is this freedom better than not being forced to be 100 years ago and just have a conventional family unit and everything? Like, was that a more sustainable way of living? It's a question. What's most important, I believe, is to give people choices, give them and promote their knowledge, their awareness of, these are your options, these are the good and bad, these are how to aim towards good people and avoid bad people, and this is why they're good and bad. And some religions make an attempt at that, at categorizing those people and bringing certain people together. But I think the most important thing that religion does is it promotes the idea of marriage. And marriage is, and now I'm going to defer to my Facebook post here. Check this out. So I say, if you don't marry her, you don't love her. What that means to me is, if you don't marry someone, you are not fully committed to them. You're wanting her intimacy with you before being willing to offer her marriage. And so I make that argument and others below. I start off by saying love is a science. And by the way, it's very important to like our posts, because we should never have anyone else be a bigger fan than ourselves, except maybe even our spouses. And even then, sometimes your spouse will disagree with you on your path to reaching your purpose and having the best possible impact in the world. But in the Man's World content, and I'll bring that up too in we'll go to my YouTube history, and I want to let's see here, my history. I want to showcase some other videos that all are in the direction. This specific one, it's called this guy. I like his analysis, and he and other guys who hint at that it's necessary to have your purpose above a woman. Like, you're not, the woman should be attracted to you because of she likes your values and she likes your purpose, what you're doing in the world and how you're doing it, and then she can be supportive of that. And am I implying? Yes, I am implying that it seems like relationships work better when there's a masculine presence and a feminine, and the polarity of the masculine being the person creating their life and figuring, pushing towards goals and purpose, and then the other one being like a helper to them and playing a supportive, complementary role. And even in LGBT relationships, I think there should be one who's kind of designated as the more masculine, be it a man or a woman, or even hetero. Even if the woman is the more masculine and the man's more of a, they're more, I don't want to say submissive, but they're more kind of feminine, and they're more perhaps quiet, and they're not so intense and like driven. And so whatever the relationship is, I think that's a good aspect. But so I'm saying love is a science that many people just don't study, and that's why I published my website, shieldheart.org. And if you navigate there, you'll see I've got protection for mind and body, right? And these are for personal development, finding true love. And then I have these: meet your basic needs, intimate desires, and emotional wants. And then embrace consciousness, that has to do with like the who we are, and just accepting that, and not being afraid of beyond this world. And then it's preparing for marriage, and then selecting a spouse. So whichever of those topics strike your interest, or you can go through them, study each one, and then the next one, and so on, is sequentially. And yeah, like for example, if you go to select a spouse, there are these gender separation. Actually, that doesn't look right. Prepare for marriage. Yeah, the website isn't completed yet, but the bulk of it is there. And if you really want to know, if you're really excited about it, you can always contact me, or go to my YouTube page, or go to my TikTok page. I also have TikTok. Let's see here. TikTok. So if we go to my TikTok, you'll see I say let go of your body, celebration of women and women's flower, all that is there. But back to this. Back to the Facebook post. So, what are people saying? They're saying stuff like that it's not true, that it's only a cultural thing that's come down. And the irony is, this guy is saying that older people have these, but most older people have had more stable and loving marriages, and and less divorces and less single parents. And that's because when you marry someone, it's about the culture of marriage. It's about preparing for marriage. It's about, if you're going to marry someone, you'll be more selective about who they are, and it won't just be because you're physically attracted, but it'll be because you really do think and have discussed that you think you would, over a long term, that your marriage would work, and you'd prove your love for each other by making it work. And so I ask, do you prefer sex before marriage? And then, for example, this guy says, he's kind of hinting at that it's a question that he doesn't really get. And then I ask him, do you want to be a husband? And would you prefer a virgin woman? And he kind of hesitates. Basically, I say, I do ask unconventional questions, but these were common issues 100 years ago, and they are still now. And I'm really trying to ask him, and he's actually not answering the questions. He's saying, do you want marriage or not? And then if not, then what's your argument against it? And then I say I'm strongly for marriage and celebrating my wife's VV. And we'll see what he responds to that. But again, he's kind of dismissing it. He's making a laughing emoji. And I say, I would like a friendly debate here, and no laughing or people making fun of each other as you've done with your emojis. So don't let people get by with doing stuff like that on your own posts. Another thing is let's see. So, and then this guy makes a profanity comment, and I give him a full-on, I say, allow me to elaborate. When choosing a spouse, one's much more selective, like I was saying, compared to a one-night stand, which is the other extreme. I think anything except marriage with no premarital intimacy is the only way to love someone. And if you think about a prostitute exchange, it's basically for body and money. And I think many people are doing this body for body, and there's no love and respect for each other's values, because that's really who you are as a person. It's what's important to you in life and your values. And so if you really cared about someone, you wouldn't seduce them for sex via dating. And historically, only married couples went on dates. and only the man can propose marriage. I think is a pretty universal. And so, what can the woman do? Well, her job is not to give him her body until he marries her. And to enhance that statement, I would say that as a solo woman, it's hard to do that because of strong hormones, making them, affecting their body, making life more difficult than the average man's life. And so a woman's job, I would say, is also, they talk about high value man, a man who's financially and emotionally stable and can support a family. That's good. But then what's a high value woman? I would say one who's, if possible, a virgin, and if not, at least somebody who's not attached or doesn't have bad, doesn't have, ideally is a virgin and has no history with someone, or children, or anything that would require the potential husband to be involved in her problematic history and her child's father and so on. So so then what's the woman's job? To protect her body, and in at least historically, but even now, there are cases where the the woman can rely on trusted relatives, especially a biological father or biological brothers, or uncle. And by the way, incest and pedophilia does occur within families, so women need to be careful about that too. But most importantly is she should find some men she can trust who can look out for her, and that makes her higher value. And then I go on to say the root issue of criminality in America is broken families, which were based on lust, and obviously they're not in a loving, committed marriage. Marriage is for children. What do you think? And then I'm gonna like my post. So I just really dropped a lot on him there. And so far, the people in the comments, I mean, I did have a few people like my post, and that was nice, but all the comments are pretty resistant to my initial proposition that, if you don't marry someone, it means that you don't love them. And okay, so continuing on, we have this one. This one's interesting. This is a lady that I've done vegan activism with. She's, she seems friendly, and I've had welcoming interactions with her up until this moment where she makes a laughing emoji, which to me was harsh, but it hinted that there was something that hit her emotionally, like that made her react in a strong way. Because if she wasn't interested in the post and she wasn't strongly disagreeing, then she would have probably just passed, not commented. Just like, for example, you might see different posts on Facebook, like for sports or just whatever you're not interested in. For me, example, sports I'm not interested in, so I just wouldn't comment on it. But she did, and so she's a lesbian, and so what I told her is, I asked her, in a lesbian relation, do you think it's optimal one woman be more masculine and the other be more feminine, to have a polarity? And then I asked, have you ever thought of marriage? And here's several things about LGBT. They need to be more careful because it's easier to get access to the same gender because of the way society is, men's sports, women's sports. And I believe in a segregated society where it's not co-ed, especially for grades K through 12. I think younger people should be not forced to be near each other because it promotes premarital intimacy and distracts from learning and creates a competitive environment that's not really healthy for men and women, for men to get along with other men and for women to get along with other women. It creates tension between everyone. And so we'll see what the reply is on that. And then this final comment, it was almost as if it was a joke, as if maybe it's supposed to be a mom joke, like as if he's not married to his, like he's married to his mom or something like that. But, and let me say this, I don't like the idea of using terms like mother and father to describe people. I think has to do with authority and submission, and it's like playing a role. Like for example, would you play the role of if you just labeled somebody a stranger and they were your biological father, but you just thought of them as a stranger, then their opinion wouldn't matter very much to you. But if you label somebody your father or even like brother or something, then or friend, then their opinion is going to matter more. So if you label somebody like a bad person or just a person to be avoided, then you're not going to take them that seriously. So it's how we label people. It's how we categorize. It's the role that we want them to play in our lives. That's how we should be labeling people. And these are powerful words and names. And that's why they say that people finally grow up when their parents pass away. But it shouldn't take that. People should want to grab hold of their lives right away and just label their biological parents as the first name, and basis. And then if they do have shared values, then they can be spiritual siblings. There can be equals, just like how in Islam and certain Christian societies, they'll call each other brother and sister. That's the spiritual family, and that's what we should be aiming for. But in any case, my response to his ambiguous comment was, are you being sarcastic? And then I asked, do you have the courage or desire to marry someone and be a husband? Because from the comments, these people don't seem to like the idea. It seems to be more of, they feel like it's religion pushing this idea on them. And the truth is it's religion has a lot of stuff in it, but one of the good things about it is marriage. But it's not about not wanting to sin because you're going to go to hell or something. It's or because you're afraid of a higher supernatural power. It should be you want to get married because you really want to. You really want to prepare for marriage and love yourself and really figure out who you are, so you can figure out who would be a good match. And then you walk on the path of life together, and then you either have kids or whatever it is that you do, you just go together. And so I don't know why anyone wouldn't, like, that's my orientation of my life, my reference point for life itself. It's like the meaning of life is to find someone and be with, for your life. And it's, even when I have low self-esteem or whatnot, it's like my reason for living. It's like, okay, this is my motivation. It's like, hey, this person is, my future wife. I'm going to save up money for her. I'm gonna be diligent, follow my purpose for her, build my career, I'm gonna, and then I send her emails to say hi, and so it's like I developed this relationship with an idea, and really that's what life is. People don't get it. Life is about ideas, and so you need to think about them and talk about them and act towards them in order to make them real. And so on a final note, I just want to go back to this year. This guy said these are some weird questions. So to me, these questions are normal. Like, would you prefer a woman who's a virgin and not been with anyone? If if you're being honest, most men would say yes. And so, yeah. And then another thing that you can do is you can go to my channel, and I actually have playlists that I'd like people to see. Let's see, and then the marriage playlist. Where is? And then if you go into it, there's intellectual discussions. Pause that, and then you can scroll through these. Some of my favorite intellectual discussions to glance through. And then I also have these marriage discussions. I do need to make this playlist. I need to make this one deprivatize it. So let me see if I can do that here. Let's see, I should be able to edit. That's weird. Edit. Sort by. Let's see. But you get the idea, guys. Thank you for joining me here, you guys. And yeah, please say hi. Please connect and enjoy yourselves. Enjoy life, and let's live it together. Aloha.